So you need that kind of structured and planned for you.
And then how does the app fit in comparatively to terms of what you do with the matchmaking? Is that the matchmaking is more just like your higher level clients?
Correct. So the matchmaking is a very high touch service. It is global. We have the largest global matchmaking database in the world. And that is, for the world's 1%, where Matchin is a way more accessible platform where we can actually scale connection. But not only do we have the singles, we also have the couples. So it becomes more of a wider platform in terms of community. And then the difference in pricing is that with the matchmaking, our membership start at $50,000 for 3 months and go up to $350,000, where with Matchin it's $100 a month. So it's a different platform and a different pool of people.
Do you then find that because if the women know that the guys are paying 50 to 300 grand for matchmaking, I imagine you have no shortage of women who are wanting to apply for that?
Oh yeah, we have the largest database in the world.
And is that primarily because they know the type of guy who's going to be coming through that?
Well, it's not just the type of guy. They know that they're serious. And what happens a lot in dating online is that you don't know what people's intentions are when you are on a platform, where when there is an investment behind it, you know that this person has more intention for a serious relationship. That's also why girls join. But not everybody gets on a date from the matchmaking, because obviously if you think about the number of clients we take on versus the number of women that are within the database, where on Matchin, you almost have more of a guarantee of going on a date because it's in your hands. It's like a do-it-yourself.
What would be, from an outside standpoint, if you're a guy looking at the matchmaking and you know how many women are coming into it because they know how much you're getting paid, surely you have the perspective that surely these almost like gold diggers come into this just looking for guys with money.
You know what? People can make that assumption, but like I mentioned before, we do all of the interviewing and the vetting to ensure that you two have the same relationship goals, values, alignment, and before you even go on that date. Some women are looking just for that, and some of our clients don't care really, right? And then we have some clients who are looking, hey, I want to make sure that this is this type of relationship, and then we make sure we match them with those types of girls.
The guys coming into that as well, I think a lot of them I probably don't care anyway, I don't think. Do you?
Most men who have money don't care. Don't care, because you know what? They built this because they know it's attractive, right? And they don't mind that somebody is like, wow, admires them for that.
What would you say to people who listen to this think it's unfair to men who don't have money in the dating world?
You gotta work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they need to get some money.
You gotta work, bitch. Like, I'm sorry. But one time I went on a date in Dubai here. Okay. This was a very, very interesting date that I went on. And this guy was an older gentleman. How old was I? I was in my 30s, he was in his 40s. And he said to me, because he wanted to split the bill. And we just got drinks. And in my head, I was like, oh, gosh, you invited me here. Now we're going to split the bill. I was like, okay. I just felt like really, really awkward. And then his response was, well, if I paid for every first date, I would be broke. And I told him straight up, I was like, if going on first dates is going to make you broke, then you shouldn't be dating. You should be working, because that's not attractive at all. And yeah, I mean, hopefully that maybe kicked him in his rear a bit, but I'm not sure. Haven't heard from him again. I blocked him.
Do you think the world is too politically correct to be able to have that harsh conversation with men in that regard? Because I think conventional media's kind of messaging is so soft now, and even like education, that we have that culture of giving away like fucking 15th place trophies, which is why we have that kind of society developing.
Well, I used to work in education, and I think that education needs a huge, huge overhaul. Because the educational system was built for worker bees, right? And now we're entering an era where there are so many opportunities where you can create your own thing. Yes, it's not meant for everybody, right? But I mentioned this earlier. I said that there's a shoe for every foot, but if you're trying to date in a certain quote unquote league, then you need to step up your game.
Would you say as well with social media, Dubai is very Instagrammable, that has almost put fuel on the fire probably for some of the kind of transactional dating culture that we have in society?
Yeah, I mean, I see so much of it. But it's only like, I feel like it's ruined it a bit for women because I see it this way. When you go out in DIFC, right? You go to the bar and some women are there for, hey, I'm trying to find my client tonight, right? You get what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm trying
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my client tonight. And then you get an amazing girl, right, who's there and probably looking for something else. And if you have a guy who is susceptible to that, they're like, okay, I can either put in work with this girl or I can get it easy with this one and I never have to talk to her again. But for me, when I view a man like that, I go, you're a very weak-minded man. Because in all honesty, I think that men are really motivated by a few things. And if your main motivator is sex, then you are a very weak-minded man.
So I find it incredibly amusing sometimes. And I went to, I think it's Lenya or whatever it is, on the Palm of the night for dinner. And I just walked in and there was like maybe 6, 7 guys who were in their 50s with like blonde Eastern European women who are early 20s. And I was just like, you spot a mile off. And I think it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's kind of sad as well.
I mean, like I said, there's a shoe for every foot. There's a reason why that business is still going and it's the oldest business, right, in the world. And I mean, what I tell women to look for in men is doesn't really matter what's in their pocket, because if they're a man with ambition and drive, you can make it, you can lose it, you can make it, you can lose it. You just got to trust this man and support him, right? But the main things you want to look for in a partner are character, they stand in what they believe in, and integrity. And like I mentioned before, the drive and the ambition. If they have that, you'll go miles ahead with this person.
And I actually think there's a shift, because I know a few friends, acquaintances who've kind of been through that treadmill, if you want to put it that way, and now kind of come out the other side of trying to kind of sort their life out, because they've kind of gone off the hedonic treadmill doing whatever, and then realized it's actually made them super fucking unhappy.
It's very unfulfilling. Like, I think about it this way, like, let's take it from the female's perspective, right? You're a woman who's created, your own successes. And maybe you have been brainwashed by society or social media that I don't need a man. I can do everything by myself. I make my own money. I do this, I do that.
Boss bitch then.
Oh my gosh. I really dislike that kind of talk, because I'm like, humans need humans. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have. And that goes for both, right? Men and women. But you kind of get brainwashed into this thinking that I don't need a man. And then you start becoming bitter about anybody, right, who approaches you. And then that leads to a lot of loneliness. Have you seen the documentary, The Manosphere?
Yeah. I watched it.
Oh my gosh. By the way, so eye-opening to me, because I was like, my algorithm is totally not this. My algorithm is monkeys and engagement rings. I had no idea that this existed in the world. And when I was watching it, obviously a lot of things stood out. But one of the main things stood out was his hatred for women. And what I see a lot online after I had watched it and then my algorithm started changing is that it is so polarizing. Men hating on women, women hating on men. And I'm like, how has this been created, and how is this going to make our society better? And it just, like, I don't know, made me feel really sad. I was like, I'm so happy I don't live in the US.
What do you think has fueled that fire of hatred almost between the genders?
Rejection.
Okay.
Rejection. So what I was mentioning earlier about like this kind of like gender gap and like this muddied roles of genders in relationships now.
Do you then think men should be men, women should be women?
I think in the traditional sense, what I'll say is this. I've obviously created my own successes. I run 3 different companies. And when I'm in a boardroom, I'm like this. When I come home to my partner, I'm just a girl. Like, he makes me feel like, oh, I can relax. I can be wholly myself. And I'd look to him for guidance on things. So I'm not saying that women shouldn't have careers. I think that's a ridiculous statement. But I do think that having a partner softens you from a female perspective. Having a partner softens you. And another thing about men, right, is a lot of men don't have as many emotional outlets as women do, because we are able to vent to our friend group. about a lot of the emotional stress that we're dealing with. What I've seen is that men traditionally vent to a romantic partner. That's their outlet. And when you don't have that, a lot of anger and resentment starts building inside. You need that outlet. And if you don't have that in a friendship group, like most women have, then a lot of like anger and loneliness.
You said something then very interesting. Do you think men should be leaders at home then, in a traditional sense?
I do, yes.
And I agree.
Yeah, that's how it works in our household. And I mean, there are certain things that like I'll take the lead on. Like, listen, he's not great at making reservations. I'll make the reservation. That's one thing I can take off his plate that I don't mind doing. And I just pass it on to my PA. So it doesn't matter, right? But yeah, like finding like the balance. But in all honesty, like I look to him to lead. Because also like I am so exhausted. Like I am leading so many things. Like when I come home, I just want to be like, and it feels great to have that with somebody.
So I can get your opinion on this. So a lot of the people who listen to this podcast have businesses where they sell digital info products or sell stuff. One of the big things comes up is that like, oh yeah, I want to buy your thing, but I need to speak to my wife. What's your perspective on that?
Oh, if a man says that.
Yeah, like, oh, I need to speak to my wife before I'm allowed to buy something.
Why?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I even think about that with myself. I would never say, oh, I need to talk to my husband. I'd be like, either buy it or not. Like, that's interesting. I haven't run into that.
I imagine that's not something you see with the millionaire, billionaire clients. You can't asking for permission for things.
Yeah. And usually the guys who come to us, they're at a stage where they've already made the decision. Like I said, I never do any outbound. Everything comes inbound. And if you've come to my website or signed up or got your friend to message me, then you're ready for this journey.
And obviously like the guys you work with are kind of the top 1% of men on the planet. What was the first sign that you thought, okay, this could be a business?
So when I first started matchmaking, my first package was 3 dates for 10,000 dirham. So like $2,700. And because the demand for the business was just getting out of control, I kept having to increase my prices because it was only me at that time. 6 months in, we went international. I joined forces with a US agency who wanted to get into this part of the world. And then we grew the database to over 50,000. So for us, wait, what was the question again?
In terms of when you saw as an opportunity because the 1% guys.
So then for me, just the demand of the business just proved to me that, oh gosh, I got something here. When I kept having to increase my prices because I just couldn't keep up with the demand. And a real big turning point for me, I had a client, an American guy, worked in tech. He was out here. First person I put him on a date with, they're married, having babies in Europe. And he had come to me 4 months after I had set them up. And in my heart, I was like, oh no, they broke up. I was like, no, but they're perfect for one another. If they broke up, I have no one for him. That's the perfect person for him. And he sits me down for coffee and he goes, what you do is magic, but it's not scalable. Turn it into a tech product. And that's why I launched Matchin, because I was like, I'm creating connection in this agency, but only for a small group of people every year. The max amount of people that we can take, period, is 5 per quarter. We cannot take more than that. And especially if we have a client that
you're going to take 5 men a quarter.
Yeah, that's the max we can have.
You take 20 a year, basically.
Yeah. So that's why we have like a long waiting list. But if you're a client that is an exclusive buyout, I have to cancel out all my other clients or I have to like push them off, right? So sometimes we don't even have 20 a year. Sometimes we have less because we have a client paying $350 and that's our sole focus client. So with that, Matchin was a way for me to scale that amount of connection I can actually create for people. So I was like, okay, there's a real business here.
Now, if you enjoyed this clip and you're a coach, creator, or a business owner and you want help in terms of how to scale your business using ads, AI, content, marketing, a lot of things we talk about on the show, then hit the link at the top line of our description in the YouTube video. You can book on a call with us and walk through the whole process, audit your business, and show you where there's huge, huge opportunities for you to scale.